So I want to review this entire session. Okay, I'm going to break down some decisions that I made, trades overall, going back into the close here. Okay, of really this prior day. Let me go to NQ actually, because I was trading NQ. Cool. So let's go to the daily time frame. So on this time frame, I want you to ask yourself. Let's go to 24 hours so that this loads. What liquidity matters and how do we get there, right? At this point in the course, you should have some practice with this. I'm going to remove these lines because these are cheating at this point. Okay, we want to ask ourselves what liquidity matters and how do we get there? There's this pivot back here that we know about. And there's this little node here. There's this major node here, and there's this little node peeking out here. So I want to go ahead and box out this node here. I could box out here. I could box it out here. I'm going to box it out to this level because I'm going to line it up with this sweep here. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. We'll line it up there, and we'll do the same thing on ES, right? So on ES, you can see that I had this already boxed out. Let's go ahead and let the volume profile load. We can see where that box is. So I literally just boxed out the node really nicely on ES and NQ. So, and you can see that I have this node above boxed out. Now, at this point, there's a few possibilities. Either we bounce here. Okay, you can see that this is the edge of the shelf. Or we transact this node. So I actually took this long. I took a settlement long, looking for us to transact higher, right? And I took that on NQ. So let's go ahead and, all right, so we're on the 5-minute. Market opens. Okay, get this little sweep, little pop down here. We take this long expecting the bounce. Our stop is going to be somewhere at this low here. Okay, so if I want to do my stop loss, I could put it right at this price. Okay, see what happens. I was curious. I had messed up that earlier trade. So this is similar to the trade. It's not the exact price I took, but I did buy into this candle. Okay, this trade fails either way, which is important. Okay, so eventually I get stopped out for like 10 points. Okay, I talked about this in the Discord. For those of you in the course, it doesn't really matter. But I got stopped out for like 10 points. Okay, the thesis itself dies there essentially, but I could already smell it coming. And we're transacting through this node. Look at where we are on ES. This is a 24-hour chart, the daily chart on ES. We're transacting through this node. So I already know, just based off of these shelves, where we're going. We're going to go to the bottom of that red box, right? And what we can do even is we can literally set an alert right there. So we hit the bottom of the red box on ES. We have this pretty crazy distribution here. So I could hit buy right here on NQ based off of what I'm seeing on ES. So let's go ahead and get into the market. Let's zoom out to 24 hours on NQ real quick. Okay, and I want to figure out where this trade needs to be. Okay, that jumped ahead in time. That's not really what I wanted there. Let's go back to the 15-minute. Yeah, did not want to jump that far ahead in time. So my goal there was to look where my stop needs to be. My stop in this trade is going to be a little bit past the sweep. So we have this sweep over here, right? These are these lows. My stop needs to be below here. So let's go ahead and grab my stop loss and put it somewhere. We'll put it a little bit for a bounce down at this prior POC. That's a little far, just P&L wise. We'll put it right around there. Okay. Nonetheless, I suspect that this is around the lows. Let's see what we get. It immediately bounces. It bounces off of the edge of this shelf. Okay. So this would be like a 4 a.m. trade. Now, I didn't take this trade. I'm taking it on sim. Did not take it in real life. And let's just see what the market does coming into the open. So I want to let this play out until around 9:30, which is right here. Whoops. Until 9:30. All right, market opened, comes down. I'm still green in this trade. Let's see if this trade ever gets hit. We're really trading this shelf. We're trading this shelf on ES and on the higher time frames on NQ, right? So this is one way that we're going to trade today, essentially. And my price target should essentially be these highs up here. So there's this pivot high up here on NQ, right? We see that there's this node up here. So I'm going to look to take profit up here. And let's see how long it takes for us to get there. Okay. We do a higher high, higher low. We're uptrending. It's about 2 o'clock. Ah, there it is. All right, I went a little too far. But you can see that we did the sweep, right? We did the sweep that I was expecting trading the daily. What's another way that we could trade this session? Okay, and this is what I actually ended up doing. I didn't hold this 4 a.m. because I wasn't up at 4 a.m. I was 100% asleep. So the day plays out. I'm streaming. I'm talking about it. Like, hey, it's a pretty even D profile. Not looking for much today. But then we get around 11, okay? And let's see what the session looks like around this time. Now, I still have this thesis on the daily, by the way. Okay, we're still traversing this node on the daily using ES. So we're at this point here, and I'm looking and I'm like, dang, this is a pretty clear volume shelf. Now, the trades that we teach really that you're looking for are mean reversion trades with a signal candle prior POC hits. Those are the A setups. So off the bat, I want to call out this is not an A setup day. Not in the way that I see it. There's a lot of risk. There are obvious risks on these trades. The first and foremost is that we have some magnets very close by. This could run. Okay, this could run at any point in time. We could crack this low. We've had, dang near 3 red days. I wouldn't be surprised if something happened here. There's no data today. Okay, so there's a lot of things in the back of my mind that I'm keeping in mind about the actual risk, like the alpha on this trade, not the point risk. Okay, it's a different type of risk. I'm thinking about what is the risk to my thesis. Like, what are all the actual ways that price action could play out that makes sense? The simplest thesis, nonetheless, though, is that we traverse this RTH session. So we have this RTH volume that's coming in addition to all the other volume that's ever existed. Okay, we're inside this node. So essentially, we're building value inside of a place we're already building value. So I'm like, all right, maybe we just keep traversing this node we're in. So I take a short. Okay, I'm going to go short. And where do I want to take profits? I could look at the shape of the VP here. And why is it painting dots? We don't need more dots. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. So I want to take profits based off the VP. There's the VAL. There's this little bump right here. We're doing higher highs and higher lows. So I need to look for a higher low on my TP. So I'm going to be safe and I'm going to go to 739. Okay, this little shelf in the VP. Yes, we're going to crack the POC. That's a whirlpool there. But there's a little change in the VP right here. And for my stop, I'll also use the VP. I'm going to put my stop loss right around in the middle of this peak here. Okay, whoop, that did not do what I wanted to do. All right, we're going to put our stop loss up here. And we're going to do our take profit right here. Okay, and let's see what our trade does. Okay, we almost get stopped out. It's going, it's wicking around POC. Boom. All right. So we make money there. Cool. Well, this is a higher low. I think I want to get back in. All right. So I'm going to get back in the market on the buy side. Okay. Still not the best days. We could run this low, right? A higher time frame could kick in. But at this point, it's around 12 o'clock. So what I want to do my TP, I'm going to base it off the volume profile again. I'm going to expect a higher high. Okay. So I'll put my TP. Really, I could go for 880 at this point. Now, there's also this high up here if I want to wait for the end of the day. I'm not necessarily going to do that. I'm going to do a rangy type of trading style and a rangy type of trading styles, and I'm expected to reject this again. So I do expect it to play out the pattern of a higher high, but I'm also going to expect it to reject in this rotation. just because I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to put my stop down here. Really, I'm not expecting them to do a lower low. I'll give it a little bit of juice though, of space. Okay. Playing this on the 5-minute. Remember, some stuff happens. Okay. Not too much longer. We get our TP there. So at this point in time, it's 12:45. I've taken a handful of trades. The day's gone pretty well. Now I need to ask myself, what makes sense for the afternoon? I want to be careful here. I don't want to get too greedy. Again, we still have our key levels that we talk about every single day. Okay, and the key levels that you, as a volume profile trader and someone who's looking for the edges, need to always keep in mind, which is the low, okay, pivot high, and like prior day high. I'm expecting them to sweep this. This needs to get swept, okay, because of how the day looks so far. On time frames, if we go to like the 4-hour, okay, we've got a green bar off of the bottom of this higher time frame node, right? So very likely we're going to have a green or just a bullish response in general off of this low. This is a pivot low. I mean, and look what happens off of these pivot lows, right? We get these pretty strong green bars. So that's what I'm expecting at this point. The alternative to that would be something weird where it's like, okay, after putting in 2 4-hour greens, we suddenly fall off a cliff on the end of the day, even though we're doing higher highs and higher lows, right? It just doesn't make sense. I know you're going, some of you might be going, yeah, but it's possible for us. So how do we know? Look, guys, we're playing poker. Anything's possible. Okay, we could get we 100% could get a 1,000 point candle after 1 o'clock, right? Probably because a meteor hit the White House, but it's possible. Is it likely? Is it something that you should account for and plan and try to put risk on the market? Absolutely not, right? So there's no point in falling into that trap, even for things that are less crazy. Okay, most likely we're going to finish the day strong or pin at the POC, but we're not going to like do something crazy at this point in time. Again, there's no catalyst today or anything like that. So I want to keep that in mind. If I keep looking for shorts, I need to keep my expectation for this sweep in mind. All right. And we could just play out the rest of the day here. And you can see that we actually start chopping around the highs. People get, chopped up here. And eventually we get that sweep here at the end of the day. Okay. So that's a good example of what it looks like to play the higher time frames on the lower time frames, combining technical analysis, some very, very simple TA, higher highs, higher lows. There's no magical patterns or signals here. The market is just uptrending. We hit the bottom of this liquidity shelf here on ES and NQ. Ignore all these arrows here. That was from a video I was messing around in. But we hit the bottom of this liquidity shelf, which gave us a reasonable daily plan of ending on this side of it. We see that we're uptrending, and so we play the zigzag with the volume profile. We use the volume profile for our entries, remember. Okay, let's go back just to reiterate this. Go back to around here, the short. Okay, we see that this is based off the volume profile. Okay, we did the higher high, which tells me the pattern has run its course and we're at an edge. Okay, there's a ton of confluence there. So it makes sense to take that trade, right? So that's it for this lesson. Make sure you try this for yourself as well, okay? Obviously, this video wasn't about backtesting. There's a good little review of how simple it is to set up as well.